Welcome in, belly up, have a seat and grab a drink as we talk some Wingman fantasy football. Welcome into another edition of Wingman Fantasy Football, the League Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Furley. And as always, I'd like to thank all of you, or any of you who may be watching or listening to today's show. This is episode 103, a Week 5 preview. And it's my great pleasure to welcome back into the bar Mr. Bernie, a.k.a. Team B.
Yes, Cuban B.
How are you doing tonight, Mr. Bernie?
I am doing well this morning. How are you, Michael?
I'm doing fine. It is a fine Friday morning, especially for all of our players that had Atlanta Falcons. Well, we'll get into that. We're not there yet. All right, guys, we got a jam-packed episode for you today. We will set the slate for this weekend's primetime games, check in on the player news and practice reports. We will take a look at the waiver wire activity from our league. We'll also go over this week's matchups in the Wingman Fantasy Football League. We'll see who's on top of the newest power rankings, and we'll also have our starts of the week. We'll also have another thrilling installment of a fourth and long with Bernie. And we'll take stock in this week's Wingman Jam. And how can we forget? We will dive headfirst, deep in, feet up into the mailbag. All right, guys, with that being said here, wrong button. With that being said, let's get into some news and notes. All right, starting off, this is the first NFL week where we're going to have teams on bye. This is the first bye week of the season, and we have 4 NFL teams on bye this week as the Detroit Lions, LA Chargers, Philadelphia Eagles, and Tennessee Titans are all on bye this week. And I would like to remind you that there is a London game this Sunday at 9:30 a.m., so keep an eye on your rosters in regards to that one. All right, let's check in on the slate for the primetime games. On Thursday night, this week we had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers swashbuckling their way to Hotlanta to take on divisional foe, the Atlanta Falcons, at 8:15 p.m. on the Thursday night. On Sunday morning, as mentioned in London, we have the Minnesota Vikings giving up one of their home games to take on the New York Jets. And the Sunday night game has the Dallas Cowboys riding their way to the Steel City to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers at 8:20 p.m. And the final game of the week will be Monday night as the New Orleans Saints go marching over to Kansas City to take on the undefeated Chiefs. Which one, if any of those games, catch your attention, Mr. Bernie?
Oh, I think the Sunday night and the Monday night game catch my attention. And the Thursday night game catches my attention. I've got a lot of primetime players. I could have more, but Mr. Rashi Rice isn't going to get to play Monday night. So, it looks like I'll be staying up late Thursday, Sunday, and Monday.
All right. So the Thursday night game has just concluded, and we had 9 players in our managers' lineups on Thursday night, as Mac Daddy 2s had Young Shui Koo in his lineup, and King George had a pair of Bucks in her lineup with Mike Evans and Bucky Irving hitting the field, up against Waddle away, who had Kyle Stinky Pitts in his lineup, and Red Sox Nation had a pair of players as Baker Mayfield and Drake London in his lineup, battling up against Bernie's team B, who had Darnell Mooney, arguably the number 1 receiver for Atlanta, and Amazing Spidey had his first-round pick and his first-round bust, Bijan Flippin' Robinson in his lineup, and Q Birch Rage had Chris Godwin going in his lineup. What do you think about some of these players on that Thursday night game? There was some fireworks in this one.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Kirk Cousins on my bench. Big game. Both his receivers, big games. This was a good thing. Atlanta did show up for some fantasy points this week. Tampa, they had one down week so far, but they've been consistent showing up for fantasy points. So good on them. Still no tight end in the end zone though.
All right, guys, let's check in on some of the player news and practice reports, as Cooper Kupp, as mentioned earlier in this week, has already been ruled out for the Sunday's matchup against the Packers. And Joe Mixon and Dameon Pierce are not practicing once again. We had Joe Mixon hit the practice field last week for a day or two, but he didn't play, and he's still not practicing this week. So we're not sure if he's going to play or if it's going to be another Cam Akers week. Rashee Rice was officially placed on the IR, meaning he will miss at least 4 games. However, he is still looking to seek a second opinion later next week to see if he will require surgery. If he does get the surgery, his season is over. If he can rehab it for those 4 to 5 weeks, he may come back. Malik Neighbors is still in the concussion protocol and may miss week 5. And Nick Chubb has returned to practice this week and is said to be feeling good. And it looks like he will be activated before the end of his 21-day practice window. All right, let's take a little pause here. What do you think about these first 4 or 5 players on this list? A couple were your guys here with Rashee Rice and Nick Chubb. You get one and lose one.
I get one and I lose one. I really can't afford to lose too many wide receivers, but with, like you said earlier, Mooney coming on, it's okay, Rashee Rice, but little birdie told me that he was getting a second opinion and I dropped him already. So I don't know what to do. I don't really want to pay for him, but I don't really want to pick him back up.
Well, I was ready to make the move to pick him up right at his first availability, but that once he got an IR, I think I can wait a week or 2 to see what that second opinion actually comes up with.
Yeah.
But if he wasn't on IR this day, I was going to pick him up and wait and see what that second opinion was.
Yeah, not too worried about it. But everything else seems right on point. Kind of worried about Neighbors a little bit. Hopefully that doesn't linger past 1 week if he has to sit.
Yeah, I kind of poo-pooed the fact that he was in the concussion protocol, thinking with the extra long week because he had the Thursday game the prior week that it would make it easy. But it looks like it's going to be a little dicey for making it this week.
Yeah. So, if you got Neighbors in your lineup, just make sure you have him back up ready to go.
All right, guys. Now moving over to the Steelers backfield. Both Jalen Warren and Cordero Patterson have both been missing practice. This might leave the backfield all alone to Najee Harris, and it was a Stanfield or something similar to that, and whatever other practice squad guys they pick up this week. George Kittle has not been practicing so far this week, but he did play last week. I'm thinking he's just getting some veteran days rest to get the most out of his availability. So he hasn't been practicing, but there's no indication that he will miss week 5, but definitely keep an eye on that as the week progresses. Alvin Kamara, who played last week, has been limited and is reported to have fractured ribs. I guess they're not displaced, maybe a minor crack. It doesn't sound very, very fun. But so he's definitely keeping an eye on Kamara as he is dealing with pain and fractured ribs. And Austin Eckler appears to be ready to get back to the field after missing last week with a concussion. And Tank Dell has also returned to practice, albeit in a limited capacity. Anyone here catch your attention to these news that I just mentioned here?
Mr. Kamara catches my attention. That's troublesome for me. I have 3 studs at running back position: Kamara, Ken Walker, and Jonathan Taylor, and they all have little Q's next to their name. It's like a QAnon conspiracy going on over there.
All right, moving along here, we have Trey McBride of Frankenstein.
It's alive! It's alive!
It looks like he's alive as he's returned to practice and looks like he will return in week 5 against the 49ers. Davante Adams is not practicing as he awaits a potential trade away from the Raiders. This is just a mess. He can't play. The Raiders aren't going to play him until they make a deal. I mentioned this last time we're talking with Bernie here that my guess is he's going to be out between 2 to 5 weeks because the trade deadline's not for another 6 weeks, man, or 5 weeks, and there's no hurry to trade him. So he's not going to play while he's still in the Raiders, and he might even take a week to get ready for his new team. So he's going to miss at least 2 weeks. I'm going to say closer to 4.
Nice.
And then we have Jonathan Taylor. The aforementioned Jonathan Taylor here is dealing with a high ankle sprain. He's been a little sketchy with his injury throughout his career, meaning that maybe Trey Sermon may get the start for the Colts this week. Brandon Cooks is dealing with, I believe, an infection in his knee, and it looks like he's going to miss a couple of weeks. And Devin Singletary was coming on strong for the Giants. He had a rough game last time, and it might have been because he aggravated an injury during the game. I'm not sure if it happened during the game or at practice, but right now he is dealing with a groin injury. And Khalil Shakur is also not practicing as he nurses an ankle injury. Do you have anything to mention here about Jonathan Taylor? I know you kind of mentioned a little bit. Davante Adams, what do you got? What do you got on these last 5 guys?
All right, so Davante, buy low opportunity. You could probably get a solid, give up a solid second round pick for Devontae. I wouldn't give up a first for him right now. Jonathan Taylor, ooh, that whole situation is sketchy for me. But I think he's going to play through it. I'm not sure if he's on a contract year or not. Do you know anything about his contract?
No, he just signed a big deal last season.
Oh, yeah. So that's sketchy for me. And then who was that third one?
We had Shakir. Devin Singletary.
Yeah, the Giants. I mean, they looked like they were about to come on, and now they've got their top players just not looking good. And then Shakir, who else is in Buffalo to catch the ball? Like, he was like the de facto number one. Who's catching the ball over there?
Might be a Dalton Kincaid week this time around.
Oh, we're gonna get a tight end in the end zone this week. That'd be nice.
I don't know. We'll find out. All right, guys. Let's check in on the activity of our waiver wire. And this was a lot more aggressive this time. We had a lot more bids on more players this week, as we had 12 waiver claims this week for 6 different NFL players, and 4 of those players received multiple bids. We have Dontavian Wicks was the prize of the ball this time, as he went to Lionize for $16, and it was the perfect bid, as our next highest bid was the Fantastics at $15, which was also a very fine bid, because the next bid after that was Cubert's Rage at $13. And Amazing Spidey thought that no one would bid because last week no one did, so he put a $2 bid in, and it wasn't enough. Lionize also picked up another receiver, as he is 0-4, trying to change his fortunes here. He picked up Wan'Dale Robinson for $14, and there was another bid from Red Sox Nation at $6. Not too bad, but we like playing the sound. Could have got him for a little cheaper. So Wan'Dale Robinson, you paid a little too much. All right, Trey Sermon went to Cubert's Rage, and there was for $7. There was another bid out there, Amazing Spidey, with a price check at $0. I'm surprised you didn't put a bid on this one, Bernie, to protect your Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, no, because if Jonathan Taylor goes out, I don't see Sermon doing anything too crazy with that offensive line.
Fair enough. So Cubert's Rage got him for $7, and it was $7 more than he needed to bid. So we're going to just play the sound. Cubert's Rage, you paid too much. And last week, this next one, New England defense went to Crazy Fish for $2. Again, outbidding Amazing Spidey, who put a $0 bid in. I put a lot of $0 and $1 bids to kind of just see if these guys would fall through the cracks. They did not. Last week, both Crazy Fish and Amazing Spidey both went to pick up the same streaming defense, the Tennessee Titans, and we both put in $0, and I had the tiebreaker due to my abysmal record. This time, Crazy Fish took no chances, putting in a couple bucks in there to make sure he got the streaming defense that he wanted for this week. And Justin Tucker, I was looking at him the whole time, but I just didn't have space. Nope. Justin Tucker got dropped a couple weeks ago and got picked up for $1 by King George, a very nice pickup. And Bernie's Team B picked up the Philadelphia defense, who's on bye this week. What a bold move.
In a shocking upset.
Nope.
No, you're going to play that one next week.
Let's see if it pays off for him.
There we go. All right. So what made you decide? I mean, you put $0 in, so there's no charge here.
Yeah.
You're holding on to him, obviously, for later in the season. You just want to get a head start on next week?
Yeah, this is a complete next week play. Next week, they are playing the Cleveland offense. So should get a little love there. Coming fresh off of a bye, fresh legs, everybody a little bit more healthy, and then go from there. Also, you know how we have stat corrections sometimes in fantasy football.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a fact correction here.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it wasn't Fantastics that put in that $15 bid. That was Team B that put in that $15 bid and woke up the next morning and cursed Reggie's name with that $16 bid.
Oh, thank you for that. I apologize.
No, that's okay. I was like, wait, he didn't say my name. Did I not put that bid in?
I must have looked at it wrong when I didn't copy and paste right.
That's
or something.
Okay.
All right. So Reggie put the perfect bid on the bell of the ball here. So nice job by him. And he needs all the help he can get. And he's starting him this week against me. Mm-hmm. And I think he's got a very fine matchup against the Rams this week, who's given up a ton of receiving and passing yards this week. This has potential to be a high scoring game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, guys, let's see who's playing who in this week's matchups.
I want the stallion. Ready, down, put.
this week's matchup.
All right, in this one we have Amazing Spidey at 1-3, and the second lowest scoring team in all of the league, up against Reggie's Line Eyes, who's at 0-4 and looking for his first victory. What do you have in this bottom feeder matchup?
Oh wow! Well, there is only one tight end playing, and that would be on Amazing Spidey. Both great quarterbacks. Both have solid running backs. It looks like this was going to be a close matchup. This is going to be come down to the last man playing here. Travis Kelce.
We both have guys playing on Sunday night and Monday night.
Yeah, Travis Kelce might get a bump this week, so I think that's a safe tight end play. So you'll be good. You'll be good. It's going to be close though. Too close for me to call.
Yeah, a little hint. One of his players is my start of the week, and that's terrifying me. And Bijan Robinson let me down today, so it wasn't a dud. But I need him to start playing like a number one pick, and he's not doing it.
Yeah.
Enough about my woes. Let's get on to our next game in this list here. We've got Andrew's Crazy Fish on a 3-game winning streak at 3-1, up against Paul's Cubert Rage, who is also at 3-1.
Oh, yeah. So this one, I kind of like this one just because you get to watch Jaden Daniels put up some points. I think he's going to have another good week. And then Justin Jefferson over for Cubert's Rage over in London, early morning game. So that should be interesting. I think he's going to put on a show as well. It is rainy out there, though, I believe. So something to kind of keep an eye on. It looks like Ramondre Stevenson is still getting the start over here for this guy. He and Brandon Ayuk, he's going to keep riding the dudster until he's not a dud anymore, I guess. So Crazy Fish, you're doing great 3-1, but I think you might fall to Cubert's Rage this week.
I was debating on putting Ayuk as a potential start of the week. He's got to break out of this at some point. And they got a great matchup this week.
Yeah, he does. Both got good lineups though, ready to go this week.
All right, our next one is we have Nick's Waddle Away. Nick's Waddle Away is at 1-3, and his team has been decimated by injuries. He's finally kind of starting to get some players that can help him out, but they're at 1-3, and they're on a 3-game losing streak up against Katie's King George, who's also at 1-3. This is going to be a pivotal game here, similar to the Amazing Spidey Line Eyes game. The loser of this game is going to be in dire straits. The winner is going to have a chance to save their season with some help later on. What do you have for this matchup?
Well, do you have a laugh track readily available, or not a laugh track, an applause track readily available?
I do. I don't know where
That's
it
okay.
is.
That's okay. No worries. No worries. I would just like to give a little golf clap to Nick.
I'm going to try.
Go ahead.
I'm going to try something. Give me a second. Nope. Well, that
so
was
you're
good for
telling me
both
there's a chance.
There's a chance he actually utilized the IR spot. Yeah. He put Pacheco in the IR spot, so he freed up something. I'm not sure who he picked up, but he did a good job. Ezekiel Elliott's on the bench. That looks good. So Kyle Pitts, teaser alert, got him a double-digit score. It looks good. Now on the other side, it's Jordan Love playing here. It's Chris Olave playing here. It's Mike Evans playing here. I mean, this looks like it might be a runaway for King George, even though Nick did step his game up. It's a Love versus Rodgers matchup at the quarterback position, and I'm leaning towards Love on this one.
Definitely. I found it. It's a little late. Let's put it on there.
Yeah. Good job, Nick. Good job.
Good job for waking up, all right?
Great job.
All right. All right. So our next game here, I got a lot going on. Our next game here is Verdi's Team B.
Yes, Cuban B.
Up against Jimerson's Red Sox Nation, where Bernie's Team B is on a 3-game winning streak himself, and he's at 3-1, while Red Sox Nation is at 2-2. Both of you guys had big-time players in your lineups for the Thursday night game. Let us in on this game here, and how much did those big games affect the projected points going forward for you guys for this
Oh,
week?
that's exactly where I was going, Mike. So both of us were original projections sub 90 projections, and now our live projection is both over 100. So pretty big swing here. The Thursday night game really gave us a bump. I did have a 30 burger on the bench, which I'm okay with because I think Justin Fields is going to have another great game. I have tremendous respect for Red Sox Nation and the way he drafted, the way he builds his lineup, the way he puts in Baker Mayfield for his bye week quarterback. But I am going to actually lean towards I'm going to toot my own horn here. I'm going to lean towards my team. I think that I'm not really going to have too many, if any, duds unless somebody gets hurt.
So if you remember last week, you were praising Corey's Mac Daddy 2s coming off his undefeated season, and that double reverse jinx worked out well. And now you're going the opposite way. You've learned nothing. You've learned nothing.
Oh, I've learned.
So to say he's got a great team. I really don't think I can get this one done, but I'm going to try my best.
All right. Yeah. I've learned not to pull on Superman's cape and not to spit into the wind. So.
There you go. All right. And you don't mess around with Jim. All right. Very good. All right. So now we're down to our next game here. We have Ben's brilliant team at 2-2, our lowest scoring team of the season, against our juggernaut, clearly the best team in the league at 4-0, the most points scored. Alex's "They took our jobs." He deserves that one, right? Because he is running this one. What do you have in the matchup for this particular game?
Wow. Yeah. He's just stud on top of stud on top of stud, but then he's got Christian Kirk in there. So that might be a dud for They Took Our Jobs. Let me look at his bench real fast here. He does have a big name on bye this week. Saquon Barkley is not going to be playing for him. He is currently on bye. But Hubert Rage does have, or I'm sorry, not Hubert Rage. Ben's brilliant team has a lot of Qs in his lineup at the moment with Etienne Jr., George Kittle, and Tyler Lockett. Hopefully those aren't serious and he can get some points out of those guys. He does have Christian Watson on the bench there, Gabe Davis on the bench there. And Anthony Richardson, he doesn't know. So he's got some good replacements, but it's going to be a tough sled.
Yeah, They Took Our Jobs is just a juggernaut right now. If he can survive a Barkley bye, which is fun to say, he should be able to handle that because he's been getting up and down performances from Josh Allen. So if Josh Allen can come back to form like he does in his odd games, he's been getting 30 points in the odd games and 10 points in the even games, and this is an odd week for Josh Allen.
Yeah.
All right, on to our next game here. We have Corey's Mac Daddy 2s coming off his first loss of the year to Bernie's Team B. He's at 3-1 up against Ken's the Fantastics, who's having a rough time with the Dolphins as he is now on a 3-game losing streak at 1-3. What do you have on this matchup?
So just looking at the teams, he's still got 2 Miami Dolphin players in Fantastics. He's got Achane and Hill. Now I believe a little bit more in Huntley than the masses. So I'm not going to say these guys are going to dud it up, but it's a risky play here. And he does have Singletary in his lineup. So just keep an eye on that situation over there. Outside of that, he's got CJ Stroud. So he's definitely got the quarterback advantage over Caleb Williams on the other side. Breece Hall has not shown up. He's not a Breece Lightning. He's not even a Breece Fire. He's nothing right at this moment. Deck the halls is what I say. Get another running back in there if you can. Other than that, though, that team is stacked over there. Collins, Pittman Jr. We'll see if Flacco can get the start, and Kyron Williams and Aaron Jones. So he's got a good team over there. Koo's already got double-digit points for him. Mac Daddy 2s might have this one.
All right. So in terms of a Huntley last week for in terms of Tyreek Hill's potential here, it was not good last Monday night, obviously. But there were 3 different plays where Tyreek Hill was being covered by L'Jarius Sneed, arguably the best cornerback in the league, and Tyreek Hill was scorching him. He was getting open so many times, and Huntley missed him. One, he had to come back to the ball and he just had to break it up. Another one, he overthrew him by just a little bit, but both times he was well behind Snead. Now I don't know what makes Snead good. Maybe he's like a strong type of I don't know his style of play. I just know he's really good at shutting guys down. So, but he wasn't stopping Hill from getting open, and Huntley was just missing him. So if they can get some of those connections, obviously you don't only need one or two of those big plays to hit to have a monster day. I think they're going to pepper him a lot more, do less of the end arounds, which they're running out of bounds, and do more quick slants and like short crosses, and let him kind of dance around after the ball in the positive side instead of he was going backwards the whole time, or they were missing on the bombs. There's still potential out there for Tyreek Hill, even with Huntley, but it's going to be going to close your nose and hope it comes through for you.
Yeah, I think it will. I think more practice. We went into that game, and it's first time on the field with these guys. The timing wasn't going to be perfect, and the timing doesn't have to necessarily be perfect with Hill because of his speed. So I think they're going to dial it in. I haven't seen any practice reports. I don't follow practice reports or anything like that. So hopefully they're doing things right, and hopefully McDaniels has got a game plan for the skill set of Huntley.
Well, they've got a chance to win. They're playing against a team at this point that's equal to them in the Patriots.
Yeah.
All right, let's check up on our newest power rankings. Pardon me there, power rankings. Power rankings.
By the power of Grayskull.
I'm living in it, no one man should have all that power.
Wingman Power Rankings.
All right, so we're going to start from the bottom once again, and our bottom four teams are staying put as Ben's brilliant team is bringing up the rear at 12, Lion Eyes is at 11, and Waddle Away is at 10. Crazy Fish, that number 9 spot is a very good spot, I'm telling you. He is at 9 still, and he's on a 3-game winning streak. And Amazing Spidey, who was 2 or 3 a couple weeks ago, was at 5 last week, just keeps falling down as he is at 8 now. Cubert's Rage is staying at 7. And Red Sox Nation's moved up from 8 to 6. Team B, despite the big win last week, has fallen down in the power rankings from 2 to 5. And Fantastics, who was at the top of the power rankings last week, has fallen to 4. A little bit of a surprise here, but King George is rebounding in terms of the power rankings, moving from 6 to 3. And They Took Our Jobs moves up from 3 to 2, but we all know he's the best team out there. And Mac Daddy Twos moves from 4 to 1. He is projected to have the most points for the remainder of the season, and that is a death nail. You are definitely going to lose this week, Mac Daddy Twos. I'm sorry about that.
How do these power rankings get adjusted here? I'm curious. I understand how the projections, the weekly projections and the year-long projections get adjusted, but these power rankings, I don't know, man. I think it's just some Keebler elf throwing darts at a tree or something. They Took Our Jobs. They Took Our Jobs should be more. That might be more accurate. Yeah, They Took Our Jobs should be the number 1 spot. No disrespect to Mac Daddy Twos. He can be number 2. It's in his name.
No. Disrespect's fine.
No, it's in his name. He could be number 2. That's fine. But They Took Our Jobs is undefeated, and,
right, exactly.
And he's dominating.
All right, guys, we're getting a little better at this. We are now over 50%. It is time to let you in on our starts of the week. All right, let's start off with our quarterback position. You want to go first, or would you like me to go?
Oh, I would like you to go first. Actually, no, you know what? Let me go. I got it pulled up. Ready? All right,
Yep, I'm ready.
Yeah, we're gonna go with Mr. Bo Nix. He is projected to be at a 13.05, and he is playing Las Vegas. So he's coming into week 3. Great opening drive. His best performance. I'm sorry. Nick started to come in on week 3. And he started to get the hang of the things going on here. Without Max Crosby, or even a limited Max Crosby, though, that Raiders defense, I mean, Nick could score a rushing touchdown because everybody else has scored a rushing touchdown on the Raiders defense. So Bo Nix is my start of the week.
This is very interesting because we mentioned Mac Daddy 2's team is very strong because he kind of punted on the quarterback position.
Mm-hmm.
Bo Nix is on his team.
It sure is.
The other two quarterbacks I was considering are also on his team. I also picked Caleb Williams this week against the Carolina Panthers to be the start, my start of the week. I don't know what his projections is, but they're up against the Panthers, who are who give up the 10th most points to the quarterback position. The question is here. I don't think the Bears defense is good, but they're not great. Mm-hmm. And I think that the Panthers are going to be able to score at least, let's just say, 22 points, in that range. Yep. So I think the Bears are going to have to throw to keep up here. We're kind of not sure about DeAndre Swift. He had a good matchup against the Colts and did awful. Had a regular matchup last week and blew up. So we're not sure this is a chance to be a Swift game, but I don't trust him enough to do 2 weeks in a row. If you remember, Roschon Johnson still got the early work in that game and got the first goal line carry. Yep. It was just when Swift had a couple long runs, they stayed with him. But if he doesn't get off to a hot start, I could see him falling back behind Roschon Johnson in a closer game this week. Caleb Williams is going to air it out against a team that is not a great defense, but the offense is good enough to make him have to compete. Caleb Williams is my quarterback start of the week.
And just for the record, it is a 15.7 point projection.
Okay. And so they're about the same as Nick. So essentially you're looking for 18 points for Nick. I'm looking for 20 points for Williams, give or take.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe I was wrong about Mac Daddy 2's not being number one in the power ranking if we're both saying all of his quarterbacks are starts of the week here.
Yeah. All right. Now on to our running back start of the week. I'm going to start off here, and this one hurts me to say, but there's just no way around it. And maybe I'm trying to do a little reverse jinx kibosh. Let's just hope that's what I'm doing here. Najee Harris up against the Dallas Cowboys, who give up the third most points to the running back position. They definitely improved last week against the Giants and Singletary. That was a little bit of a surprise as the Cowboys have been giving up a ton of rushing yards and points to running backs through the first 3 weeks prior to last week. So I don't know if they're getting better or not, but the combination of Cordell Patterson and Jaylen Warren being out means Najee Harris is going to get the backfield almost all to himself. And whether or not you think the Cowboys defense is starting to get their groove back, they're missing two of their top defensive linemen, as Micah Parsons is going to be out and DeMarcus Lawrence has already been put on the IR. This is an all-day Harris day. If he just doesn't crap the bed here, he's going to have a monster day this weekend.
Yep, and he's projected at a 10.4 fantasy projection.
That's the one that scares me because our matchup is tied, and he's going to crush that 10 points easy.
Yeah, so very good, very good. I agree with everything you said about that, though. That's a good call. All right, so my running back start of the week is going to be Justice Hill for Baltimore. They're at Cincinnati, so this is the Ravens have actually led for most of the games for 3 straight weeks, right? Allowing the offense to kind of settle in and into a run heavy mode. Now, Derrick Henry's a beast. They're putting the mileage on him, but Hill should be on the field more than Derrick Henry. Even last week, Hill led the team in targets, catches, and receiving yards. So I see it continuing. He could get a 20 burger here for us, and everything would be good. Getting some points per half points per reception. So, and he is rated at.
Let's hope we get some running.
Sorry, he's projected at a 5.3.
Yeah, I think he has a chance to score. I think he's going to get 20's a lot. Maybe you're hoping for 13. I think that'd be a good day for Hill.
Okay. I'll
Let's
take
hope
that.
his touchdown is a rushing touchdown. Let's keep Lamar Jackson out of that end zone.
There you go.
All right, now time for the wide receiver start of the week. I'll start off here again if you don't mind.
Not at all. Go for it.
I missed last week against this defense, but so far the Commanders have been the best matchup in terms of quarterbacks and wide receivers. We're going to go back to the well. Amari Cooper up against the Commanders. Get as many players as you can in the passing game against the Commanders. The Commanders can score, and they give up play to the receivers. So this seems like a no-brainer. Amari Cooper is going to have a fine day, and he is my wide receiver start of the week.
And that is a 10.7 projection for Amari Cooper. And you know what? I like this call, but I think that Washington's defense is going to start coming alive. I don't think that they're just going to sit back on their heels for too much longer. So, but hopefully Amari gets something there. And there's also a little rumor going out that he might be a possible trade to Kansas City.
Oh, so the good thing in terms of that, he restructured his deal, so he has all of his salary this year is in the signing bonus, which means any team can trade for him. There's no salary cap implications. He does not have a salary this year. His money's already been paid for up front.
Nice. I wish my salary was paid up front.
Adams. Yeah, Devontae Adams still has like a $30 million salary, so he can only be traded to like 2 or 3 teams that have the space.
Right.
But Cooper can be finagled into almost any situation.
Yeah. Okay. So my wide receiver start of the week is Mr. Wan'Dale Robinson for the New York Giants. He's projected at 8 points this week, 8.1 points this week. And we've got Daniel Jones starting to get a little bit better. Wan'Dale is his favorite short target. And then we're going to possibly be missing Neighbors and maybe a limited, if not missing, Devin Singletary. So there's going to be tons of opportunity for Wan'Dale Robinson. They're at Seattle. Seattle is going to put up some points. So the Daniel Jones will have to be either playing from behind or back and forth, keeping up with the Seattle offense.
All right. I like it. All right, guys. It is now time for your favorite and mine Friday morning segment. It is now time for 4th and Long with Bernie.
Go for it. This measurement could determine the Giants'
It is
season.
time for 4th and Long.
With Bernie.
All right. Hey, folks. Welcome back to 4th and Long. You know, I was thinking the other day, what's the most entertaining part about watching sports? The game itself? Nah. The commercials? Close, but no cigar. It's the commentary, right? And when it comes to commentary, no name stands above the rest. John Madden. So today, we're diving into the wonderful world of Maddenisms. Now, for you youngsters out there, and I'm looking at you, Mike, even though you're off screen, John Madden wasn't just the name on that video game you played instead of doing your homework. This guy was a legend. He coached the Oakland Raiders to a championship, but that's not even the best part. It's what he did after coaching that made him a household name. From 1979 to 2008, Madden was the voice of football. And what a voice it was. The man had a way of explaining things that was, well, let's just say it was unique. You know, how your uncle thinks he's a sports expert after a few beers at the family barbecue. Imagine that, but actually entertaining. So what made Madden so special? It was his Maddenisms, those quirky, often obvious, sometimes confusing bits of wisdom. So I've got a list here that will make you laugh, cry, or maybe just scratch your head. Okay, you ready? Okay, here we go. In no particular order, by the way. All right. The best way to gain more yards is advance the ball down the field from the line of scrimmage. Gee, thanks, John. And here I was thinking we should run backwards. Brett Favre is Brett Favre. Well, I sure hope so. Imagine the identity crisis if he wasn't. When you've got great players playing great, well, that's just great football. This man was a poet, I tell you. Sorry, guys, I can hear Mike giggling in my earphones. If the quarterback throws the ball in the end zone and the receiver catches it, it's a touchdown. Hold on. Let me write this one down. Revolutionary stuff over here. Okay. Here's a guy who can use his arms and legs at the same time. As opposed to what, John? A potato? You got one guy going boom, you got one guy going whack, and one guy not getting in the end zone. Ah, yes. The classic boom whack nope play works every time, 60% of the time. He was running down the field and boom, he got whacked. Madden's sound effect game was so strong, wasn't it? Usually the team that scores the most points wins the game. Usually, John, I'd love to see the exception to this rule. They're either going to run the ball here or they're going to pass it. Or maybe they'll break out into a choreographed dance number. You never know. I'm looking at you, Kansas City Chiefs. The defense should be expecting a run or a pass here. As opposed to what, John? A pizza delivery? Now, you might be thinking, Bernie, these are ridiculously obvious statements. And you'd be right. But that was the beauty of Madden. He stated the obvious in a way that somehow made you go, huh? I never thought of it like that. Madden's influence went beyond just funny quotes, though. He's the namesake of a video game series that's probably destroyed more friendships than Facebook. It's the only game where you can experience the thrill of being told you're doing a great job while simultaneously being informed that sports involves physical movement. Mind-blowing stuff. But here's the thing about Madden. His style was so unique that it changed sports commentary forever. These days, you can't watch a game without hearing someone try to channel their inner Madden. It's like a form of possession, minus the need for an exorcist or pea soup or anything like that. In all seriousness, though, Madden made sports more accessible to everyone. He broke down complex plays in simple terms. Sometimes those terms left you wondering if he was talking about the game or giving you directions to the hot dog stand. But hey, at least they were entertaining. So what's the takeaway here? Well, John Madden showed us that sometimes the best way to understand something is to look at it from an angle so obvious it's actually brilliant. He reminded us that in sports, as in life, things aren't always as complicated as they seem. Sometimes the team that scores the most points really does win the game, and that's okay. So next time you're watching a game and the commentator says something that makes you tilt your head like a confused puppy, don't worry. They're not having a stroke. They're just keeping the spirit of John Madden alive. As a great man himself said, the only yardstick of success our society has is being a champion. No one remembers anything else. Well, except for maybe some of those Maddenisms, John. That's it for Fourth and Long today, folks. Hey, Mike, what do you think? Did I use my arms and legs at the same time during that segment, or was it just going boom and whack?
That's pretty good. I was trying to think of some, but you pretty much said the ones I was thinking of. Like, if he runs the ball in the end zone, he scores.
Yeah. I wanted to rank them, but I was like, I can't. They're all so uniquely themselves. They're all number ones.
It's going to be hard to move the ball forward if he falls down. All right. Let's see what else. All right, guys. Thank you so much for that. That was awesome. Thank you, Bernie, again. Always putting in so much work. I appreciate it. And now it is time to get into our battle here, our 2-on-2, our Wingman Jam.
Wingman Fantasy Football.
Wingman Jam with Bernie the Bounty Hunter and Amazing Spidey. Boom shakalaka. All right, just to recap a little bit, after week 4, we restarted our Wingman Jam for the next few weeks here. Mm-hmm. And last week, all right, I did this kind of by memory, so correct me if I have any of these wrong. Okay. So last week we had Anthony Richardson or Brock Purdy. Who would score more fantasy points? Right. Bernie picked Purdy. I picked Richardson, and Bernie got that one right. He got Purdy, did outscore Richardson. It's hard to say how that would have gone because Richardson left early in the game, but we only play it straight here, and Purdy definitely had more points. So far from last week, Bernie's up 1, and I have 0. On to the next one. This was a NFL one. We did the Denver versus the New York Jets, where the Jets were favored by a whopping 7.5 points. And remind us what you picked on that one.
I took the Jets, I believe, or I took the Jets.
Yeah, that's how I remember it. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, he picked the Jets to cover the 7.5. I picked Denver to cover the 7.5 from the other side, and the final score was Denver 10, New York Jets 9. Not only did Denver cover, but they won this one outright. So Denver did cover, so I got that one right, and Bernie got that one wrong. So right now we are at 1-1 apiece. On to our next one. This is a fantasy one here. This was Garrett Wilson, who's been struggling. His projected fantasy points were at 11.5 points, and I believe we both went under, if you can remind me. I know I went under.
Yeah, I believe we both did.
Okay, so the final, Wilson scored 6.6 points, so we both went under. We are both correct on that one. We are both 2-1 with one result to come. The next one was an NFL over-under, the Washington at Arizona game. The over-under was a whopping 50.5 points, and I selected the over. The game didn't go the way I'd hoped, but the score ended up being right here as I picked the over, and I believe you picked the under, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Okay, and the final score was a 56 total. So last week I was 3-1 and Bernie was 2-2. What do you think about starting this new leg of the Wingman Jam already down, Bernie? What's going on here?
No, that's okay. I'm okay just because the Jets lost, so I'm okay.
Okay, all right. I'm just poking fun here a little bit. All right, now it's on to this week's pick'ems for our prop bets. We each pick two props, one fantasy football related and one NFL related.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and you can start us off with your prop bet here.
All right, so I'm going to start with the NFL one. It is Miami at New England. New England is -1, and I'm going to go ahead and just take Miami to win this one outright.
This is hard to say here. So I think the problem with the Patriots, how Ramondre Stevenson had a great first couple games,
Mm-hmm.
if they are close in games, he's going to control the ball. Minus fumbling.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of those games that New England has a chance to take the air out of the ball, but you got to think Miami's going to figure this out, right? You got to.
Yeah, you got to, but I think that they will because New England is not
All right,
good.
I'm going to give you a chance here to catch up because this one's so close. I'm going to take New England. If it was 3 points, I would definitely take Miami, but at the 1 point, New England's at home. I'm going to take New England here. I'm going to give you a chance to catch up.
Okay, I got you. All right, so what do you got for the NFL?
All right, so NFL, we'll stay on the NFL side here. I've got a spread here as well. The Dallas Cowboys are at the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Pittsburgh Steelers are favored by 2.5 points. So this one, I think Pittsburgh's going to run the ball here, but I think that Dallas is going to throw all over the place. We always talk about TJ Watt, but we forget about Highsmith, their other pass rusher, who's arguably better, just not as flashy, and he's hurt again. And if you recall last week, Pittsburgh gave up a lot of points in their game, and they finally got a loss when they were missing one of their big-time defensive players. And I think this one's going to be a close game, but I think it's going to come down to Dallas throwing the ball. And I think Dallas is going to cover this 2.5 points.
Oh, okay. I think that Pittsburgh will.
Pittsburgh's favored. Sorry, Pittsburgh's favored.
Yeah. I think Pittsburgh will cover the 2.5 here. Is it 2.5 or 2? 2.5.
I have it at 2.5, so that's what we'll go with. Yeah.
So I think they will. I think Justin Fields knows that this is his game. From this point on, he has to play close to mistake-free football. He can't lose the game for these guys. Otherwise, Russ is coming in because I think he's going to be ready to go this week. So I really think that this might be the last Pickens to Fields. The Dallas defense isn't what it is game. And they'll take him down.
All right, very good. All right, we have some different picks this time around. All right, I'll go next here with my fantasy one. This one's a matchup between two of our players, our lowest scoring team versus our highest scoring team. And these are the only players this week that didn't have anyone in the Thursday night game, so we're going to use these guys. We have a whopping spread of they took our jobs favored by 11 points over Ben's brilliant team. This one is tough here because the spread is so big, but they took our jobs team is amazing. I'm going to go first here, but I think Ben's got some decent matchups, and with Saquon Barkley out this week, I think Ben's going to cover the 11 points. I think it's going to be a surprise. I don't think he's going to get the win, but I think he's going to make it closer than we were going to think.
Oh, I'm taking they took our jobs to blow this out. It might not be the biggest blowout of the week, but there's a reason I think that he should have been number one in that power ranking. He's just rolling, man, and until we know different, he's the juggernaut.
Gotcha. Fair enough. So, all right, we got different picks this time, guys. This is exciting. We're exciting. All right, what's your last one? What's your fantasy prop bet here?
All right, so we have in the amazing Spidey against Lionized game, we've got two rushing. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. We have two dual threat quarterbacks We have a dual threat quarterback play going on over here. So Lamar Jackson versus Kyler Murray. My bet would be, or my prop here is going to be, who has more rushing yards. And I'm going to lean towards Murray.
Who are the Ravens playing again this week?
I can look that up for you real fast here.
Oh, Cincinnati. They're playing Cincinnati. Okay. I'm going to go. Oh, man. Murray only had 3 rushing yards last week.
Okay.
But I think
he's at San
Fran. He's going to have to run for his life.
Sunny day at San Fran.
I think he's going to have to run for his life. Yeah, I think they wanted to try and pass against the bad passing defense of the Commanders last week. It didn't work out. And they were able to run the ball, actually, with Connor. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball as well this week against the Niners. I think he's going to run for his life and potentially run forward for his life. I think I'm actually going to go Murray here myself as well.
Yeah. All right. Good call. It's a good call.
All right. So just to recap here, we have the spread in our fantasy matchup. Ben's brilliant team against They Took Our Jobs, where They Took Our Jobs is favored by 11 points. And we are split on this one. I've got the underdog to cover. He's got the favorite to crush this one. We have the Dallas Cowboys at Pittsburgh, where Pittsburgh is at home and favored by 2.5 points. I'm taking the road dog to cover. He's taking the home favorite to cover the 2.5 points. We have the Miami Dolphins versus the New England Patriots, where the home team here is favored by 1 point. And he's taking the road dog he's taking the road dog this time, and I'm taking the home favorite. And our last one again was rushing yards for Murray versus Lamar Jackson. This one's tough. We're both taking Murray to have more rushing yards this week. All right, guys, very good. All right, it is time to dive deep, head first, heels high, into this week's mailbag.
You've got mail. Wingman Fantasy Football.
Mailbag! All right, guys, we are going to start off here. This one comes in from Mike J, and this one says, "Hey, Wingman, this in response to last week's rant about how tight ends suck, I just want to let you know that Jared Goff has more receiving touchdowns than arguably the top 3 tight ends drafted. Sam Laporta, Travis Kelce, and Mark Andrews combined for a total goose egg of touchdowns. And Jared Goff, with the slowest, most awkward pattern last week, was able to jog out to get himself a touchdown reception. So just wanted to rub that in. Let us know if you were already upset with tight ends. Just to reiterate, Jared Goff is the best tight end of this group. So keep that in mind there. All right, we have another mailbag entry here. Or what do you have to say about that, about Goff outperforming receiving touchdowns to these top tight ends?
Oh, man. So we do our notes and stuff for the show, our pre-work and stuff. And I make columns and group things together. And because we have the wide receiver tight end position in our league, I have always written wide receiver / tight end on everything that I'm making notes for. I stopped. I'm just writing wide receiver. I I'm not even looking at tight ends. I'm not even thinking about tight ends. It's just not a thing anymore until further notice.
All right. You said that you got yourself a letter that came in. What do you have from our mailbag?
Oh, yeah. So I got a direct message from Sarasota, Florida. Somebody that's not in our league that's listening to our show. This is pretty cool. Mr. Chuck P. Thank you, Chuck, for listening to the show. He was saying that he was making a suggestion of perhaps we should have a segment where we interview fans that go to football games the day after the football game so we can really get an in-depth look into the football game. And he had mentioned a couple of Dolphin fans that went to the last game, and they could kind of expand on how bad and horrific the Dolphins are in this moment, and kind of, let that have like an insider kind of look feel to the show. Maybe a small little insider segment of this is what the real fans watching real football feel like. Come over to the fantasy side. That's what they should do.
I'm gonna have to get my beeping, my editing or censoring buttons ready to go because there's gonna be a lot of cursing in those. In those interviews there.
That would be a pre-taped show, so we could edit it for sure.
All right, this one comes in from Anonymous. Thank you, Anonymous. It says here, "Hey Mike, I noticed you shaved your beard. Any reason?" Well, I don't want to say I'm superstitious, but starting off 0-3 was not kosher. And once the first half of those 1 o'clock games started the way they did, I ran right to the bathroom and I just hacked away. Couldn't take it. So, and the funny thing was, we also saw the throwback from the very first episode when we were looking at our 100th episode this year. And Bernie made a subtle joke saying, "Wow, you look 10 years younger in that picture." And it made me think I probably did. So I thought I could shave off a couple of years. And in all honesty, you know how kids tell you the truth? After the fact, my kids were like, "Wow, you look like you're 25. Your body still looks old, but your face looks 25.
Oh, no.
So they approved and they said I looked younger. So I'm still getting used to it right now. But right now we're just gonna see if we can change the mojo in the world right now and to try and get some better fantasy outcomes here.
Well, if you ever want to grow it back, I got 3 words for you. Just for men.
Oh, you don't like the gray side, the black side, the skunk look?
No, I do like it. I like a little salt and pepper in my man, you know.
Fair enough. Guys, I want to thank you all so very much for your mailbag entries. Keep on sending those comments in or direct message even, and we will get those entries into our next mailbag segment. Don't forget that you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn Radio, YouTube Music, and now Amazon Music. To get our podcast, our audio podcast feeds, just search Wingman the League to get those results from those platforms. If you want to get our audio and or video feeds, you can always get all of our content at wingmanentertainment.net/podcast. And of course, go to our YouTube channel at wingmanfantasyfootball.com/YouTube to go to check out our video feeds. That's the best place to go and put likes, subscribes, hit that notification bell, and leave comments, and we will definitely read them on our next show. So with that being said, guys, thank you so very much. Good luck to all your games this weekend. Good luck, Reggie's Lion Eyes. I really don't want you to win, but I kind of do. I hate seeing the 0 in front of your name here. So either way, we're going to lose, and either way, we're going to win. With that being said, guys, may your glasses be full, your mugs stay frosty.
And when your glass is empty, the drink is done.
Boom!